Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about the keys to victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 4 matchup versus the Chargers. Now, these are some of the things that the Buccaneers can do to give themselves a better chance of winning their game on Sunday. Let's talk about the first point that I want to make in this video, which is playing clean and efficient and limiting mistakes. Now, I think that this Chargers team is very highly underrated in my opinion. I think that it's a team that has kind of been pushed aside as a rebuilding team. I think this team's ready to win now. I think that they have a very solid defense, which is banged up right now. Melvin Ingram, I believe, will not be playing in this game. Chris Harris will not be playing in this game. Derwin James is also on the IR. They have a ton of injuries, but when this defense is fully healthy, they're really one of the more talented defenses in the entire NFL. And I think even with the big time injuries that they have, this isn't a defense that you can take lightly. They still have a lot of good pieces. They have Casey Hayward Jr., they have Desmond King, they have Joey Bosa. They've got players at every level of that defense who can make plays. So I really think in terms of being efficient and clean and limiting mistakes, on the offensive side of the ball, it's as simple as not turning the ball over. The Buccaneers did a good job of that last week versus the Broncos. No interceptions. I believe it was one fumble by Fournette, but the Bucs were able to recover that fumble anyway. So it's crazy. When you don't turn over the ball, you have a way better chance of winning games. Isn't that like a crazy thing? I don't understand it. But yeah, I need the offense to limit turnovers and really just overall play a clean game on there, continue to show improvement in their overall communication, in their overall chemistry, and in their overall discipline as well. I'm specifically looking at the offensive line. They seem to be getting a lot of penalties as of late for dumb stuff, holdings, false starts, things like that. If you clean up some of that stuff and continue to gel and build on that chemistry, you're going to have a way better chance of just putting up a ton of points in this game. And I know that sounds like brain dead logic, but it's still points worth mentioning. So that's overall what I want to see from the offense. The defense, honestly, just keep it going. Keep the consistency going from what we've seen the past 3 weeks, which has been very darn good defense the past 3 weeks worth of play for this team. So keep that going. And special teams, yeah, keep it going as well. I know that it hasn't been perfect. We haven't seen a lot in the return game. Quite frankly, Jadon Mickens hasn't had a lot to work with, in my opinion, but I'm biased. But I have liked that Ryan Suckup is making all of his kicks. I'm starting to slowly not even have to think about the kicking situation anymore, which feels like an absolute blessing from God. And overall, I just want to continue to see improvement with the offense, with special teams, on their overall chemistry, with their communication, with limiting mistakes. And on the defense, hey, just keep being great. And yeah, do limit some penalties on the defensive side of the ball. I'm specifically looking at pass interferences, offsides, things like that. But it is 2020. The refs do call a lot of penalties, so that might just have to be a part of the game at this point. But if you can limit the penalties, go ahead and limit them, and let's try and play as clean of a football game as we can play. The next point I want to make is try to neutralize Joey Bosa. He is probably the best player on this entire Chargers team right now. He would honestly be the best player on this entire Chargers team if everybody was still healthy. You could make an argument of Derwin James or Melvin Ingram or somebody else. My money's on Joey Bosa. He is one of the best pass rushers in the entire NFL. He is right up there with Cameron Jordan. I think if Joey Bosa is fully healthy, or when he is fully healthy, I think he honestly might be better than Cam Jordan, in my opinion. So you have to try and neutralize Joey Bosa as much as humanly possible. I talked about this earlier in the week where if a scenario comes up where it's Joey Bosa versus Donovan Smith, I am scared for Tom Brady's life. I really am, because Joey Bosa can dominate very good offensive tackles in the NFL. So going up against what is right now an average left tackle in Donovan Smith could not end well for Tom Brady in that situation. Again, I'm not going to beat up on Donovan Smith. I've been doing it for about a month now, but he's going up against he's potentially going up against one of the best pass rushers in the entire NFL. So if that happens, I'm a pretty darn worried. If he does go up against Tristan Wirfs, that's going to be very interesting to see how Tristan Wirfs does against Joey Bosa. He held his own to a pretty fair amount against Cam Jordan, so I would be very interested to see how he does against Joey Bosa. Again, going up against two of the best pass rushers in the entire NFL in 1 month's worth of time is a pretty gargantuan, Herculean-esque task for Tristan Wirfs, but he held up against Cam Jordan. I really have no reason to doubt that he could hold up somewhat against Joey Bosa as well. So try and neutralize Joey Bosa, try and double team him, try and do whatever you can to stop this man. If you even have to put 2 offensive linemen and a running back on him, do it. Just do it. Keep Joey Bosa away from Tom Brady at all costs. The third point I want to make here is rattle the rookie quarterback. So Justin Herbert will be starting this game versus the Bucs as Tyrod Taylor got an injection that ended up puncturing his lung. The world is a cruel, cruel place. I feel very bad for Tyrod Taylor. I think he's a very good quarterback. Just a very crazy, unforeseen, unavoidable scenario, honestly. I mean, you can't predict that. You can't predict getting a painkiller injection and it puncturing your lung. I have never heard of that. At least in recent memory, I've never heard of that. Apparently it happens in hospitals a lot, but not in the NFL, man. I mean, holy crap, poor Tyrod Taylor. But Justin Herbert came in, he started 2 games so far for the Chargers, and he's done pretty good. I think that he's been a very impressive quarterback so far. I have a lot of high hopes for Justin Herbert. I liked him coming out of the draft. The guy's got an absolute cannon of an arm, and I think he's a better quarterback than a lot of people give him credit for, and I think he could end up being one of the better quarterbacks that comes out of the most recent draft class. But he's playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a rookie quarterback at the end of the day. You've got to put pressure on him. We need to see the pass rush start to gel more, build up a little bit more chemistry, and really start to get on the same page in terms of who's going where, how they're going to set up sacks, and things like that. And I think that this is where it starts. The Chargers definitely have one of the weaker offensive lines that the Buccaneers have seen so far up to this point between the Panthers, the Saints, and the Broncos. Still a solid offensive line for sure, but it still can be exploited in some ways, especially with the Buccaneers front seven. So we have to rattle the rookie quarterback. The Bucs do, I guess I should say. Make him make mistakes, make him run around, throw out of the pocket, get him off balance, because that's going to be a really important thing in terms of setting up opportunities for the defense to get turnovers. When you get inside the rookie quarterback's head, you start pressuring him a ton. He's going to start seeing ghosts out there. We need to get pressure on Justin Herbert and finally get the ball rolling on consistency with the Bucs pass rush and stop having to blitz as much to have to generate pressure. Guys, the second to last point I want to talk about here is pretty darn simple. Run, block better. This team for years seemingly has not been able to run block. I don't understand why. A lot of these guys have been in the league a lot of years now. Donovan Smith, point blank, the guy can't run block that well. Ali Marpet is apparently playing as the best guard in football right now, according to Pro Football Focus. Shout out to Ali Marpet. That's amazing. Ryan Jensen is still one of the more top 10 centers in the entire NFL right now. Alex Kappa does okay things. I think he's probably the second weakest link on this offensive line, but I still think he's solid overall. And then Tristan Wirfs has been very solid in his own right as well. So I don't know what it is, man. Pass blocking has been okay. Run blocking has just not been there. It really hasn't. I don't know what this team needs to do. I don't know what Harold Goodwin, some of the other guys on this offensive line staff, I don't know what they can do to get these guys going here in terms of run blocking, but something's got to give. Something has got to change here, because once you get the run game going and really set that up, it doesn't have to be perfect either. Just really start to get it going a little bit. The offense is going to get even more dynamic and get even more potent. So just run block better. Maybe this is where it starts. I don't know, but just please, offensive line, run block better. Donovan Smith, I'm looking at you. Alex Kappa, looking at you a little bit, but mostly Donovan Smith. Just run block better, bro. The last point I want to make, guys, is to control field position. Now, I talked about this earlier in the week about special teams and how good special teams has been last week versus the Broncos for the Bucs. I want to see that continue. Bradley Pinion last week had 3 of his 5 punts down inside the 20 for this Bucs team versus the Broncos. That's awesome. That is phenomenal. And I think it proved the point of if you have a good punter who can down it inside the 20 and can control field position like that, you are going to have a way better chance of winning a game. We actually saw it in week 1 when Thomas Morstead, one of the best punters in the NFL, absolutely crushed the Buccaneers special teams unit with just his phenomenal special teams kicking ability. On punts, on kickoffs, Thomas Morstead had a phenomenal game. So I think that Bradley Pinion started to have that last week. He's been phenomenal on kickoffs. Every single kickoff he has is a touchback, but we saw him in his overall really good punting ability last week versus the Broncos, and I want to see that continue, especially with a young quarterback like Justin Herbert with all the injuries that they have on offense and on defense. Controlling field position could be the most important key to this game in my opinion. So overall, guys, that is it for this video. Let me know what you thought about all the points that I made down in the comment section below, and what do you think the Buccaneers can do besides the points that I made to give themselves a better chance of winning this football game versus the Chargers. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next video or the next live stream, but until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.